Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling. Big birthday yesterday. Everything good?
Everything's great.
You're looking very fresh post-birthday morning. We have 8-race card today. Big weekend coming up.
Yeah.
A lot of action out of town.
Huge weekend coming up. Can't
Maybe
wait.
if we have a little time at the end of the show, maybe we'll talk about some of the races out of town. I don't want to kill it because you got to go online to check out Anthony's
We got everything
stuff.
covered.
You got to go to Naira
We got
Bets.
covered at Naira Bets.
Covered handicapped 347 races for tomorrow.
No, it's a little less now because we don't have the promotion.
Oh, because they only ran 24 at Gulfstream.
Correct.
So,
We'll have full tip sheets for Gulfstream and Oaklawn up. We will have a cross-country pick 5 ticket. I know there's a mandatory Sunday at Gulfstream since the championship meet is over. I don't even say it with a straight face. But we'll have a ticket up for that. And
Anthony,
yeah.
They're all champions.
They're all champions.
They're all champions.
Yes, I know.
Let's get that right. The Aqueduct Spring Championship meet is underway. It's day number 2. You need to celebrate the Spring Championship meeting by heading over to Naira Bets and becoming a member. Now, use the promo code Keep Anthony Employed 200 or Stakes 200, depending on what works for you. You can try either one.
You know what Louis is saying today? Look at these 2 April Fools.
Yeah, it's April Fool's Day, right? Yeah. It's never big on April Fools. I'm guessing you found him annoying. Play through Naira Bets, keep the money in the game. Today we have the Aqueduct Oaklawn. Now I feel back to a sense of normalcy.
There you go.
I forgot, because yesterday was a rare Aqueduct Oaklawn Thursday. In fact, I think it was the first Aqueduct Oaklawn Thursday of the year. I'm keeping Anthony awake up here, which...
No, December. No, December?
Oh,
no, they weren't
no,
running
they
December,
didn't run.
correct.
No, because they
Correct.
ran this month because of the cancellations. Anyway, you can opt in at nairabets.com. We also have the contest. You have until 5 o'clock today, so you've got just under 5 hours. This is a really fun thing. I encourage people, and I know Anthony agrees, just take a shot at it. You know, it's live money, so
Wish we could play.
money. Oh, well, you and
So
I.
do you guys.
Believe me, you guys. Well, you actually had a very, very good birthday opinion. You know, it's funny. You had a good day, good ideas yesterday in the cars.
Thanks.
Good job. I remember that my 33rd birthday, I won a lot of money. You know who broke his mate on my 33rd birthday? I'll give you a hint. He died this week, the last couple weeks. Well-known horse who died last couple weeks. Anyhow, while you're thinking about that, well-known horse. Belmont Stakes tickets are on sale. Going to sell out. Do not miss them. A lot of Louis Saez in this show. Going to cap that at 50,000. Get there. Going to be a great day of racing, an amazing day for a mid-year Breeders' Cup. And finally, America's Day at the Races, 3 to 6:30. Greg Ritchie and I are here. Maggie and Lafitte and Gary are at Oaklawn. And Jonathan is traveling in a plane somewhere, hovering around the country. You don't know what horse?
I can't remember.
He broke his maiden in a 5-horse field where the same trainer, who's a very well-known trainer, who's represented this weekend in one of the major preps, had another horse that was 1 to 2. And this horse paid, I think, $6, one for fun. Did not race that many times. But in his short career, and in his final career start, he won a very big race.
I'm going to get aggravated when you say this.
Well,
my mind is so
no, you're the
foggy.
same as me.
I'm carved out right now.
You could probably tell me who ran 17th in his Kentucky Derby. Here, I'll give you a hint. His entry mate in the Derby was Editor's Note.
Oh, Grindstone.
Yeah.
Grindstone broke it. Wow.
I think that's the last time I won on my birthday.
I bet him in the Derby.
Well, he was an entry with Editor's Note. They only paid like 4 to 1. He won by a nose. He'd be Cavalier by a nose.
Cavalier. That was the.
Dirty
I will
nose.
always remember that as the unbridled. That will always be the unbridled. I can tell you who finished 5th. It was Unbridled Song.
Yeah. 96.
From the 20 hole with those snowshoes on.
Probably not the best of rides either. Might have been a little overly aggressive. He was a tremendous racer.
Bad feet.
I agree.
Oh
a lot of
my
good
God.
horses in that race. I mean, Louis Couture. I think Louis Couture ran like 17th in there, and he
Right.
came back and won the Preakness.
Won the Preakness.
Yeah, he was a tremendous horse.
My flag was
Skip-Away
3rd
in
that
there.
year in the Belmont behind
She
Editor's
was.
Note and Skip-Away.
That's right. She was. Yeah, I picked her.
Skip-Away was in that Derby too, right?
Yeah. He was in all.
He hated Churchill.
Skip-Away. Nonsense. Skip-Away was in all those races. He didn't miss a race.
He ran like 73
Yeah,
times.
he may have
3
run in
years.
some allowance races between the.
I was not a Skip-Away. People were surprised when I was not a Skip-Away fan.
Do you respect him now, though, don't you?
Yeah, but I wasn't a fan.
Well, I made one of the biggest win bets I've ever made in my life. Maybe the biggest win bet I ever made in my life when he lost by a nose to Gator Dancer in the Cowden or whatever on Breeders' Cup weekend when Rick Wilson sent him into a drive in like a 45 half and he got beaten a zop. And Gator Dancer didn't win his next race until June 2 years later. And Skip-Away had beaten Cigar and Skip-Away. I think Skip-Away is one of the most underappreciated great horses of all time.
Well, he had Holy Bull and Cigar kind of precede him.
But he was better than Cigar. And if Cigar had to face the likes of that crop,
This is an
Cigar-
April Fool's joke, right?
Oh, no.
You think Skip Away was better than Cigar?
Well, he was better.
Wow.
He was a better horse. I mean, he didn't win the same races, but his competition he faced was so much more extreme, and he probably ran 8 buyers that were considerably faster than the best buyer that Cigar ever ran. So, yeah, I do think he was a more talented horse. I'm not knocking Cigar.
Okay.
And Skip Away was running against the Will's Way and Formal Gold. I mean, those horses didn't have, I mean, Skip Away did. They didn't have the consistency. He also didn't have Bill Mott, to be perfectly honest. But the first time they met, Skip Away beat him. Anyway, race number 1. Anthony and I were both going to try to beat this horse. We'll look at Lucky Brody finishing a distant second behind Might As Well Run.
Can't fault us for trying, but
We did try as we put that replay up. We both tried to beat him with Lindros. It was really a hockey thing. Anthony and I, huge hockey fans.
Big time.
Big hockey fans.
I was interrogated about that this week, about my hockey prowess.
I think you knew Lindros was a hockey player.
I did.
Take that.
I know he had like multiple concussions as well, right?
Dan Silver would cry if you didn't know who he was.
Mr. Philly himself.
I don't know who.
No,
this isn't the kind of horse you and I are running the window to bet on, and
we
he's
were
not gonna
getting
be 9 to
goofy.
5.
We were getting goofy trying Lindros. I mean,
no, I thought Lindros could have wired the field, and
Yeah.
you watched his last race. He had some issues at the start and was rated back, and he would have gone in the front in here. I don't know what that would necessarily got him the win, and he's a horse that I've lost a few dollars on in the past. If you don't. He's not going to be 9 to 5, Lucky Brody. He's going to be 3 to 5.
Perfect Tail wasn't going to be 8 to 5 too either, Andy.
Yeah, that was weird. There were
This
a lot
would
of
be even more weird.
Well,
For the simple fact that, I mean, I don't know where you want to attempt to go in here.
Right. I mean, where else are you going to go in here?
You wanted to try Lindros as the fuzzy getting loose on the lead.
We both got Cagney second.
Yeah, we both got Cagney second.
Track is listed as muddy and sealed. It's really drying.
We got. There's a slight chance of some rain at like 2 o'clock.
There's always a slight chance of rain. I'll take the under.
All right.
Yeah, I wish I had something clever.
I got nothing for you.
I got nothing.
Sorry, man.
Right. I mean, I think the fact that we both have Cagney second kind of says it all. I mean, he's a tough horse to recommend. I mean, I bet him last time.
Yeah.
He kind of got second by default. And the horse who may have run a little better than him was nowhere a distant third in that mediocre maiden race yesterday. That was a bad beat for the notice. That horse should have won. That 9 horse. That horse moved way too soon in that race.
Yes.
That
yeah.
horse should have won.
When Gustavo ran him down.
That was amazing. It just moved too soon.
And to Kendrick's credit, he did not stop riding Gustavo Rodriguez's horse.
That horse just moved too soon. Race number 2. We flip-flopped our picks here. We'll take a look at the race that Cross Island ran second. You know, my feeling here was that Sammy did not do a good job getting position with Sudden Impulse early. He's a faster horse, and he rates to be in front of Cross Island, so I thought he would get a better trip here. Cross Island won't be as far back as he was in this race, and I'm just hoping that Sudden Impulse can be a little bit more forward, and he's a slightly better price. Once again, outside of these 2 horses, I just had a lot of trouble making a case for anybody else.
I had the old X through the rest of them.
I guess April Antics is not impossible. Right, the Fig's 2 back, 2 and 3 back are fast enough to have a chance here.
I guess.
Second off a little bit of a layoff.
I guess. I just assumed, like you did, that Cross Island wouldn't be as far back, and it kind of takes Sudden Impulse's advantage away a little bit. Although, I mean, when they faced that day, I mean, he had 4 or 5 lengths on him.
Well, and that was a little bit of trouble early in the race, and it's definitely going to be forward there. I think it's going to be more forward. I don't agree. It'll be interesting to see what the line is here. I think the 6 will be a pretty substantial favorite in the second race. I think.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that he should be. She should be. The other thing is, you are talking about a horse in Cross Island, Anthony, that missed over a year.
Oh, yeah. No, listen.
She's been scratched since that race, right? She has definitely been scratched once.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, she was entered in a higher priced race.
Possible.
Kind of like a little bit of a...
You're usually right.
A little pie in the sky kind of move where it was just like, why when you just run it back for the quarter?
I don't know. Maybe you're right. Well, this isn't back for a quarter. She was claimed for 16,000. Yeah. And Jeffrey Englart's been in a good run, but he claimed this horse from Michelle Nevin, So, I don't know. I probably should have had the 5 third April Antics because the race is 2 and 3 back. I don't know. And I don't think about Lenny Kate. I guess she's not impossible. Where is her good third race? Just where is it? At least you could say with the 5, she ran those figures that were close to 60 that are good enough to compete here. Probably should have gone 2.65 here for what it's worth. Race number 3. Let me know when you have something to say, because I don't have much to say either. I mean, I'm with you. So Runabout, race number 3, you have on top. We'll take a look at Runabout 2 back. Here's my problem with Runabout. The horse is going to be a crazy favorite and was pathetic last time.
So when I originally went through this race, I crossed Runabout out, knowing that I was going to have to fill the card and the picks. So I went back and I kept looking.
Once this race is going to win, well, no doubt about it.
So Playwright, void of speed. Nuts for Bolts, void of speed. Blood Moon, I mean, I guess Blood Moon has a smidge of speed.
Nuts for Bolts actually is going to be closer to the pace than you think.
Almost has to be now.
Because
but
there's no pace.
Runabout and Manny are supposed to be able to control this now.
It's supposed to be the speed. I don't disagree.
And I don't, listen, I do not, you can see the X. I don't want to pick this horse today.
Anthony has an X over the 2.
I don't want to pick the horse today. But I don't know. This is another one of those cases.
Well,
where am I supposed to you?
Well, I have a different, as you know, opinion on that. By the way, Steve checked in. Cross Island was entered for $25,000, same time as today, March 6th, was a vet scratch. Now, vet scratches go a lot of ways, but was a vet scratch on March 6th in the same class, for what it's worth, digressing to the second race. I hear you. I'm not against Runabout, but I'm not picking this horse on top off that last race. I'm sorry. This horse was pitiful last time. Pitiful.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, I wanted to pick against this horse. I thought about Playwright. How do you pick Playwright off that last race?
Well, I'm not taking Playwright.
That's what I mean.
And Playwright, Jackie will probably be more aggressive, believe it or not. I have to bet O'Shea Can You See in this race.
Okay.
O'Shea Can You See ran against way better horses last time. A completely different group of horses. The time before that ended up down in a dead rail, and I don't think that race behind Runabout was nearly as bad as it looks. So I think that the O'Shea Can You See is a horse that has races that are good enough to win here, and to me is the very clear other horse in this race, because I don't get the Blood Moons of the world. I want no part of Playwright anyway. The only time he won was when he got that complete meltdown. The race fell apart in the late stages, and I'm not that Nuts for Bolts is impossible, but I don't know. He's not even really a dirt horse, you know what I mean? So I'm going to take the 5 over the 2.
Okay.
Race number 4. The reality of race number 4 is the horse that you and I have second. We'll take a look at Actualized last race. And I know this was a track, the 26th, where the inside was okay and forward horses did well, and he lost to a pretty good horse and highly respected.
And he is fast.
He's fast, and this horse was on a dead rail, very, very possibly 2 back.
He is fast, and in a race where you're now left with only one other horse that's faced the starter, and despite his pedigree, I have to Dad's Caps and Paul Silver Lining.
He's no Dad's Caps.
He's no Dad's Caps or Paul Silver Lining. Right. You have 4 first-time starters in here.
But you've got this is a theoretically tough group of firsters. I mean, you've got a Todd Shadwell. It is a homebred, and there isn't a ton of pedigree to speak of, but it's still Todd Pletcher coming up from Florida, and to say that you don't think this horse has any chance would be silly.
No,
I think Tony Dutro's horse is dangerous. Horse I have to Woe Nelly. There's a little more turf there, but second dam, the Smoking Heat seems like a dangerous firster in here. Even Late Call. I mean, there's a few foals from that dam that could run.
Yeah, Sky Diva won the Frisette, but that was
That Sky Diva that wasn't Tony Dutro.
It might have been. It might have been. It was a while ago, but it might have been.
It was definitely. I feel like it was. I don't.
That's what I kind of feel like. I kind of felt like the production was from the dams.
Yeah, a little
earlier
older
in their career, and I know what you mean. There's some potential with the firsters in here, but I do wonder if Actualize is just able to capitalize on his speed and just keep going.
What did you find was funny about the pedigree for Patient Capital? There's something funny about the pedigree.
Find was funny about it.
Horse is bred by Helen Alexander et al. The dam was owned by Clarvich Stables. And this is her first foal.
Wow.
That's unusual.
That's interesting. Yeah. So he went and bought the first foal.
They bought the first foal.
Out of his boy Practical Joke.
They sort of theoretically owned this horse at one time. They had a couple ownerships on this horse. it seems like their horse has been runners. That one on over the weekend was unlucky, didn't get out of the gate with Eric, and this horse is probably a runner. This feels like an interesting race, but I'm not against Actualized, and I don't think you are.
It's hard to be against them.
We've taken this horse, a little bit of my part, picked a lot of the Klarovich horses. They've been running the firsters, but
got beat by a Klarovich horse last time and highly respected.
yes.
The problem with taking him, I think, is, and why I'm assuming we both looked for a place to go, is he stops.
I don't think he stopped last time.
No, I thought he kind of like
is good.
I thought it kind of like hit the wall.
That horse is a chance to win the base.
I think the horse is a nice horse, but with that said, I feel like he kind of does the same thing.
I don't agree with you at all. And this horse is on a bad rail.
Maybe he's running into shape, Andy. Listen, sometimes they need a couple of races, three races under their belt, and then they could start rattling them off. And
great claim by Charlie Baker. This horse
me.
on a dead rail two back. This horse is okay.
No, he's a fast horse.
And an 80 buyer last.
He's a fast horse. That was a good race last time.
Horse to beat.
Take a break.
We will take a break. We will be back. Don't.
Who are you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
We're back. He's Anthony. I'm Andy.
Hola.
What? Oh, I thought you. Oh,
said hello.
So it's hard to go too deeply into race number 5 because it feels like either you like Waters or Moran on the drop down. We'll take a look at her winning 2 races back over my favorite horse, Kingdom Queen. And I will say something about Kingdom Queen's last race. She was the only horse that made it meaningful ground on March 19th. Not quite enough meaningful ground for me at 21-1, but meaningful ground nonetheless. And maybe she should stop back to a realistic spot in here, or you prefer the speed of Tweaked? We'll get to her in a second. I don't know. How good is this horse? I mean, I understand. Listen, you got to keep those Nove meals.
And now it's April, so
you're getting close to Saratoga.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, because because Louis is that thin-skinned a guy that if you didn't pick his horse, he might bar you from Nove.
That was probably the first time, last week when I went up to Saratoga, was probably the first time I've been up to Saratoga.
And didn't eat Nove?
I mean, it's got to be 12
years. I ate
years.
there over the holidays. Went there with my mom and friend Sarah. We had a good time. It's nice.
Yeah. Closed on Mondays during the off-season.
I don't know what night we went, but we had a nice time. There was a good crowd there. Oh, yeah. That's when you and Chad said to me, I said, do I need a reservation? You guys said, hey, you guys don't need a reservation. Get in there. We're booked.
We don't need a reservation.
They fit me in. They found a spot for me. Then she looked up. I said, this is not my fault. This is Anthony and Chad's fault. That's Nove and Saratoga, of course, that Louis Lasnero owns, this horse owns. She's not that good. And as we go to Tweaked, and we'll look at her maiden race, I feel if Tweak runs back to her maiden race, she'll have a tactical advantage on her. Not that she's not going to it's going to be a slow pace, but I'd rather take her speed. And I think that Tweaked last time was compromised by trying to rate her in that race. She wasn't getting the lead from Frost Wild Ride. And in this race, she's supposed to be clear. And I just think off of that race, they're going to send her.
See, I liked Waters of Merrim's race 2 back. I thought she
really?
Dug in. Yeah, I do. I mean, I thought she took pressure from the start, and I thought she ran well. And I mean, she came home, could have clocked her with an egg time. I could have beat her the last 16th of a mile, but I just
the
feel
new
like
improved Anthony Steele.
Yeah, right, exactly.
The featherweight.
Right,
Anthony Steele could run her down.
Yeah, the super featherweight.
I don't know. I feel like she's going to be a little overbet because it's Chad. Now listen, I don't particularly disagree with the morning line. I wonder if the Chad Brown fan. Listen, the stats aren't in there, but you're talking about a trainer that's horses are just running incredibly so far this year. He won almost 50% in the Aqueduct Winter Championship meet, the Winter Championship meet here.
I mean, he's winning at 38% this year coming into today, and that is in large part due to the success he had here this winter.
Well, he did pretty well at Tampa.
But his highest percentage was here. I mean, that thing
but he is
bumped up.
going to try to do something in 3 weeks that he's never been able to do. 3 weeks from tomorrow.
3 weeks from tomorrow.
He's going to try to have a horse that actually is declared the official winner of a race in Oaklawn.
Miles D. He's running in the Oaklawn handicap, yes. Funny.
Yep.
That's funny.
Tough game. I just prefer the speed of Tweaked.
And again, the story of
One
the
of these
day
two is supposed
kind
to
of
win.
is, if you don't like one of these two horses,
You're going to get paid.
you're going to get paid.
You're right.
But where are you going to go?
I mean, I wanted to make a little case for Sweet Surprise, but I just don't know if she's good enough. But, you know, and for people that are not familiar, Bruce Brown was an assistant trainer to Tim Hills before he went on his own. I got to use Kingdom Queen a little bit. Why? She against the track last time.
Yeah, of course. I went to Scenic View, but I just realized she's the third choice.
She'll have a scenic view of this field.
Well,
Wasn't she
her
supposed
one fast track race can get her third in here.
Anthony, the track is not fast.
Oh, that's a good point.
You make a great point.
great point.
Wow.
Scratch that.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. All righty then.
That may be one of my favorite.
Moving to race number
that may be one of
6.
my favorite talking horses moments ever. So that's
Mr.
funny.
Wet Track. Didn't know
Yeah,
it was
Mr. Wet Track.
Yeah, I forgot it was
fast
wet.
track race. Well,
Wow.
good news for you.
All right.
Track's not fast. I'll tell you what. Race number 6 is an interesting race.
Oh, we have a little
and
bit of a different opinion.
the scratch in this race. Well, I was going to change my pick and actually put the 4 on top.
Okay.
With Invest out of this race,
Yeah,
aren't you worried that Daddy knows?
Yeah.
I know he's beaten some lesser horses, but he's going to be in a position to just dominate in the front end. And
right.
you look at him. When's the last time he was in a race that he could control on the front end?
A while. He's been getting himself mixed up in paces on the front end, and now he's supposed to be the decided speed.
I'm
going to
argue. See, I don't agree. This was a line that I thought they had wrong. With Invest out, maybe it's more accurate. I'll be shocked.
If Dr. Ardito's not favored.
Right, we'll show
I
Dr.
agree.
Ardito's last race. It's just very hard for a Chad Brown horse like this not to be favored. Let me ask you a question. See, that's why I put him third. I don't think he's supposed to be favored. I actually think he's supposed to be third choice. All due respect to Chad.
Nah, he's supposed to be second choice because I'm going to tell you why. I have serious doubts about 7 Lilies wanting the mile.
Well, I don't agree with you at all. The race
Okay.
that we're going to show completely argues with that. But I'm not knocking Dr. Ardito, but he's going to get faster to beat Daddy Knows. And I'll tell you something else. Manny's going to have to be a little more aggressive. He's going to have to be there against Daddy Knows. If Daddy Knows gets 2 in front and he's going comfortable, good luck to him running him down.
Thorny Tails is drawn inside. I would imagine Just Right will be a little forward. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be. Listen, Daddy Knows is supposed to be the clear
Thorny Tails
cut.
could go because it's that rider, and he is aggressive.
And I will say this.
Like he rode that horse you liked the other day.
If you. Repo rocks. That was something. I'll say this about Daddy Knows. With Invest coming out and having, obviously the connections know what we were discussing. He hasn't had a chance to control. He has a real chance to control today. Now, and you got the right guy on his back, Trevor McCarthy, who's going to.
He's the horse to beat.
Yes, he's the horse to beat.
He's supposed to be favored at this point. I
think with the scratch. So the morning line had him favored. I think with the scratch, he will go favored.
Well, the reality
but I
is
don't
that
disagree with you. Dr. Ardito would have been the favorite.
Dr. Ardito is supposed to be the third choice because he's slower than the other two. As far as 7 Lilies, you're wrong about the mile.
Oh, you put 7 Lilies on top.
I am concerned about the pace, obviously.
Okay.
But he should have won here. If he hadn't sort of got trapped behind horses, he would have won this race. And Yankee Division was in very good form. He ran a 93 buyer this day. There is no argument that he can't handle a mile. The problem is the last race, and when he ran on January 14th, that was a monumentally glacial pace, and nobody made up any ground whatsoever in there except for him. And he was behind horses like Water's Edge. And then last time out, Whistling Birds, who's proven that he's the goods, considering his next performance, just got loose in there, and he didn't really run that badly. And I think he's going to be third choice in here. And in some ways, maybe should be because he's tactically compromised, but I'm not going to get away from because I think on his best day, he's the best horse in here. I won't be surprised if any of the 2, 4, 5 win here. My feeling was that the 5, because of the Chad Brown factor, would get overbet based on his performance in the racetrack, so that's why I put him third.
That could very well be the case.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not taking a big stand here.
No.
I think any of them could win. It's a very Invest wasn't winning, but it's a different race because they were going to be aggressive with him.
Complexion completely changes.
Speaking of horses that are loose on the lead, Tamburo Sox in race number 7. As we move to race number 7, we'll take a look at his last race. I got to tell you, though, Anthony, I just have a problem taking this horse off his maiden win after he finally got a win, but he's kind of loose as a goose here, isn't he?
Yeah, especially with Coach Bahi coming out of here, even to a lesser extent, Apex Predator, who...
No, you're right. They were going to be second and third, very all likely. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I can't disagree with that. I mean, they weren't going to theoretically be with him, but they were the only horses that you feel like...
The Majestic Tiger, the beat to Majestic Tiger was just so sickening that day. The pick four was paying like 2,900, and then he comes back and he just airs here. Look, he's loose on a bunch of horses that, quite frankly, they just don't want to pass.
Well, I'll say a couple of things. Actuary is the one where people are going to go, and this line is wrong. Actuary is not going to be favored over Tamburo Sox. I don't see how he is, right?
I bet Actuary 2 back, and
he's slower. I think you and I might be faster the quarter.
And they wanted to go 3 quarters today.
And
this is an interesting move. You know, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine.
2 months, the blinkers come off. They run him back for the same price, but they cut him. This is a horse that was, before he shipped over here from overseas, mile and 3/8, mile and a quarter, comes over here, mile and 3/8, mile and a 16th, mile and a 16th.
Getting a race into him to stretch him out of turf?
I mean, that's what the common sense says, right? But
he's just not much horse. Number one, he's not much
horse.
He's not much horse. The other thing is, and the two of us are big Mike Maselli fans.
Yes.
This horse has been with Brendan Walsh, Rob Atras, and Antonio Arriaga, all guys that win. So it's not like at any point he's been in somebody's barn that wins at 7%. His horse has been in barns for trainers that win, like Mike Maselli does. But I don't think you're getting any, and this is meant not as a compliment, if anything, because we're fans of the job he does, but it's not like some great trainer change that's going to move the horse up, and you're in a relatively... The thing about Brunate, and believe me, I didn't want to pick Brunate, and you've got him second, so you don't disagree, is that he is going to be stalking in here.
Yep.
And with your man, Gomez, you're right about, now, he's a 1 for 17, so it's not like I'm getting him, and his form seems to have declined, and I'm laughing because Trevor McCarthy's probably laughing at me and saying, I can't believe that idiot's picking Brunate again. Because I picked him last time, and after the race he said to me, nice pick. He was teasing me, he was kidding me, you know. But he does have back races. I don't know if he can run at all anymore, though. I mean, there's a chance he can't run at all.
The blinkers go on. Now, I only have the short numbers here.
Desperate.
In the last 15 months, Jimmy Bond's only done this 6 times. He's 2 for 6, so it's a short sample.
This is desperate.
But this kind of is like, all right, I've run this horse at this level twice, the 25 life. I've sent him to Finger Lakes, and there's nothing else left to do.
It's a desperation move. Doesn't mean he's not going to win.
Listen, he happens to have found the. I mean, if
he wins today with blinkers, you're going to tell me it's because of the blinkers?
No, of course I'm going to tell you it's because Tamburo Sox was 7-5.
Because Tamburo Sox laid down, right?
That's what I'm going to tell you, right? But let me ask you this question: if Actuary stays as the second choice, how much money do you want to book on him? How much money would you want to book on him?
A lot.
A lot.
I mean, if he were the favorite in this race, I'd like to book a lot on him.
A lot.
I'm also going to, let me be clear, I'm not going to be shocked if Actuary wins this race, but he's a tough horse to take.
This would be some form. This would be some turnaround.
He is, I think he's the kind of horse, Anthony, when you look at the race first, you say, oh, Actuary's the interesting horse in here. And then you start remembering who he is. And he's just, I mean, I remember when Sandy Goldfarb claimed this horse. I liked him that day, the day he claimed him out of it. I thought, he's an interesting horse. And then he ran a pathetic race.
Well, he had that goofy trip in November, and I was like licking my chops to bet him back. He lost ground for like 3/16 of a mile. Do you remember this? Yeah. He just kept backing up.
He ran better in the dirt. Yes, he ran better in the dirt.
Right, that's the one. The race in November 26th. He had all this whole trip. Oh, I can't wait to bet him back. He was closer. They was going fast. They were going fast up front. I was like, oh, he's just going to pick these horses up. It was atrocious. And from the 3/16 pole home, he stunk.
So the best race of the day is the last race, which, to be perfectly honest, wasn't one of the world's greatest achievements for it to be the best race today, but it happens to be a good race.
You have a few horses in here you feel like could have a future.
Oh, no. This is, there's some talented horses in this race. And, I mean, none more so than Bold Journey. I'm going to show him in the Gander when he got run down going a mile. And I like the cutback 6.5 furlongs. I understand he was well over his head last time. I understand he got stayed back at the start and he lost all chance in that race. I also thought he stunk last time out.
You know, I wonder a couple of things.
Just
he's
a couple?
He's first time Lasix today. And I wonder if something happened last time after the break, because he kind of like, it looked like he choked down.
Well,
and I'll explain that.
But let me just say something else, Anthony.
Go ahead.
This is the first time he's been in a race where he could use Lasix.
Could have the Lasix, yeah.
So that mitigates that opinion.
It could. That's why I want to bring it up.
Ran, so people are clear. He ran as a 2-year-old when you can't use Lasix, and then he ran stake races where you can't use Lasix. So this is the first time he's been allowed to use Lasix.
Yes, it's the first. But to me, the last time he ran, I do wonder if something happened. I do wonder if something happened in that race, because he ran like a horse that kind of choked down. Now, I don't know if that was the start.
He was shut off at the start. He had some trouble at the start. He's the horse to beat based on his races.
Comes back pretty quick, too. I mean,
I know.
not quick, but
No,
less
I was
than
a little
4 weeks.
I was surprised
he comes
to see him
back
back
a little quick, which I think
27
for
days?
this barn is a good sign.
He's the horse to beat. I'm not denying it. I'm not against him. I'm a little bit concerned about him. And the other thing is, key point.
I think the cutting back helps him, too.
Oh, I agree. I think cutting back helps him. I totally agree. I totally agree. And I'm not knocking him. I have a little bit of mistrust for him. And key point, we'll look at his win at Saratoga. I know this was a track that was very favorable to speed at Saratoga. Look at how green that grass is. Can't wait to get up to Saratoga.
Did not look like that.
Horse ran an 82 buyer in August.
Listen.
Even if you think his number's a little high, and I'm not really sure it is looking at the other horses. I mean, this horse,
he ran a big race. He ran well.
This
he
horse
ran well
improves.
this day. Sub
Well,
111.
he could run a 90 buyer today, and Bull Jury's in trouble.
Sub 111 on a raw time, right? Kind of looks like he was trying to figure it out until he hit the quarter pole, and from the quarter pole home,
This
I
horse
mean, he
could
really
be pretty
ran.
good. This
Yes,
horse
he
could be pretty good.
Yes, he could.
This is a very interesting
Yes,
matchup
he
of a
could.
couple of New York bred 3-year-olds running against older horses, and older horses that aren't that bad. I mean, I think Taco Bean could pick up some pieces. I thought he ran okay last time.
I thought a long time ago ran okay. Off the long layoff,
Really?
the barn. I did. I thought he ran okay last time. Off the long layoff, he chased a pretty quick pace. I thought he ran okay last time.
Okay.
At that price, I wouldn't mind trying to get him in the gimmicks. Maybe even use a save a pick 4 or pick 5 ticket with him at a price. I thought he ran okay last time, and I thought he was a horse. You know, he never ran back to his debut. He ran well in his debut, and then he had the stakes race and then the allowance race, and then when he disappears for 9.5 months, I feel like I want to give him one more chance.
Okay. That's fair. I didn't love him, but that's fair. Those are all fair points. I'm not going to argue with him.
Scam Likely's calling. Should I answer it?
Who is?
Scam Likely.
Scam Likely?
Yeah.
I know Scam Likely. He calls me all the time, too. Yeah.
20 years ago, I would have answered this because I
owe him
probably
money.
would have been involved with it.
He's a prince somewhere. I think we have to talk about Kid Doro.
Yes.
And we'll take a look at his last race at Parks. Because on the surface of things, you're talking about a horse on a wet track to boot. By the way, that track's listed as good and sealed. I didn't watch this replay until now. They listed this track as good and sealed. Stevie Wonder doing that? Good and sealed. We're not idiots. We're horse players. We're actually we're sickos, but we're smart.
That was like the 2017
That's
Derby,
a Derby.
right?
The guy got all mad at me. The guy got mad at me. How'd that work out for him?
That wasn't a sloppy track.
Yeah. It was
Neither was that. That wasn't a sloppy track either.
Okay.
That's a rough figure, man.
The only one he won with was on a gold rail back at Belmont in October. He's over 16 at Aqueduct. No, I didn't. I picked no, I did not pick him.
You absolutely picked the horse. No. I would bet every
There's
dollar.
no chance I picked a Jamie
Ness
horse.
10-1, and you picked the horse.
No, I would not pick a Jamie Ness horse. I appreciate you trying to give me credit for a winner I didn't pick. I guess I got picked the Clarvich first time star that ran second there.
Oh, it was a maiden?
It was a maiden.
Oh, I thought he won with
No, you're thinking of Jumper. But anyway, forgetting about that for a second. This is a trainer that's winning at 28%. And by the way, this horse was spinning his wheel in $12,000 claiming races, and suddenly in a $15,000 claiming race, he ran an 87 buyer, and then he ran an 88 buyer. Whatever is taking place at Parks is not taking place in New York.
And the last 2 races.
But he's in New York, but he's got to try him here.
The last 2 races on his card. I know he had. I mean, where did those things come from?
That's what I'm saying. Well, he has an 80 if you go back to March of 2021. Maybe it was the Good Seal track that did it for him. Good Seal track. Yeah,
Was there even a seal on that thing?
It was sealed, but it wasn't good. There were puddles on it. Isn't that the definition of a wet?
Standing water. There was some pumps at the quarter pole and the eighth pole. Good seal.
Look at that! Look at that mess up there. And it just ended.
Anyway,
I'm interested to see what it'll do. And you have to run them here as a New York bred. And you look back. To be fair, or we're in the card.
The other one?
Yeah, I mean, Thorny Tail ran okay here. It's not like he didn't run okay. I mean, he ran, similar.
The Kaz's Beach Durkin's Call race. Yeah, that wasn't a bad race. That wasn't a
pretty
bad race
amazing, though. 28%, 1 for 25.
Yes, sir.
Anyhow. So,
Anywho, yep. What do you want to talk about? A little Oaklawn? I got Oaklawn here. You want to talk Oaklawn?
Today or tomorrow? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
I didn't look at the race, so I want an opinion from you. Who do you like in the Oaklawn Mile? I did not look at that. I'm not on for that race. I'm on for only about 17 hours tomorrow, but I'm not on for that race.
Are we working together tomorrow?
I think you're on it from when I leave around 3:45. Right?
I am.
Yeah, I'm on. Rick Schosberg's on me earlier.
Well, that'll be fun.
I know. I love working with Rick. We had fun. We did it back at Belmont.
I have a goofy opinion in that race.
Okay.
I like Silver Prospector a little bit.
Didn't he? I bet him last time. Didn't he have the run of the race?
He did, but at the very least, I feel like he was. I know it was a kind of a dawdling pace, but at least now I think they've seen that he could be a little bit aggressive and just get him involved.
But that was a paceless race, and he had the rail. What post do you have here?
Post 6.
Who's riding him?
Jose Lascano.
Jose's down there riding all those horses for Asmussen, huh?
Yep.
That was interesting because Joel has gone to Gulfstream.
Yeah, you got Running Ray from the rail. You got market analysis.
Well, he's not getting the front in there.
I don't want him. I don't want him in front. I want him laying 4 lengths off the lead instead of 14 lengths off the lead.
He's probably a little better with less distance. I'll say that. I mean, I haven't looked at the race, and I do. Think
I like him. I like him at the mile. I like him maybe a little more tactical.
the horse to beat, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Andy? I'll be honest with you. I'm not so sure he really wants to. I think he's better going shorter. I put him second, but yeah.
I'm a big Cezanne fan. I love going to MoMA and look at the Cezannes. I got to rejoin MoMA. I've got my thing. I got to start getting out again.
Yeah, I mean you do. I haven't seen you there in ages.
You know what's funny about MoMA? You don't go to MoMA? Seriously? You're not the big degenerate that you try to pretend you are.
But I'm not a Manhattan guy. I'm not really a Manhattan guy anymore.
From your swinging days at Studio 54 when you used to.
I was in there every day. I was in there every day for 5.5 years.
Let's not go there again.
Yeah, really. Sorry, I brought it up.
What about the Florida Derby, which I didn't look at hardly at all?
You want to know what?
I want to know. I want to know what?
I'm betting Classic Causeway.
Okay, I'm not.
I'm betting Classic Causeway. And I know those figs over at Tampa don't stack up to the Gulfstream horses. I think he ran really well in both of his starts this winter. I think he's a horse that's rounding into form, and I think he's a horse that benefited from those 2 races. I think you're going to see a good effort out of him tomorrow, and I think he's 7-2, I believe, on the morning line.
He's probably going to be third choice.
I think you're going to get it, and I'm going to take a little shot with him tomorrow.
Okay. You can read up on Anthony's opinions over at NyraBets.com. Speaking of NyraBets.com, what a segue.
Got a lot going on.
That was a segue. Head over to NyraBets.com if you're not a member. No better time than the present. Join NyraBets.com. Use the promo code STAKES200. We will match the $200 of your initial deposit, and you will be supporting the game and keeping the money in the game. Nothing more important than that. We have the $20 bonus if you bet 75 or more at Aqueduct and Oaklawn. Opt in over at NyraBets.
Opt into everything. You do it. You could opt in for everything through Monday right now.
We also have the contest. You've now got about 4 hours and 15 minutes. Sign up for the contest. A lot of fun. $300 buy-in. Cash and seat prizes. Check it out. Nyra.com/contest. We have certain Belmont Stakes tickets on sale. Don't get shut out. Just get general admission. You want to be there. You're not going to want to miss this day. And it's going to sell out. It's going to sell out.
We'll be there.
We will. We don't have to buy tickets yet. As far as we know, there's still time for us to have to buy tickets. And finally, last but least, perhaps least, 3 to 6:30, America's Day at the Races. I got paid a compliment by somebody, I'm not going to say who it was today, who said to me, I'm to tell you, I've never muted America's Day at the Races. I said to him, that is an extreme compliment.
That's a big compliment.
Yeah. I'm not sure I believe him, but he says he never muted it.
Wow.
We're done.
We are.
It's been a pleasure. We'll see you again tomorrow.
All hours.
But I'll see you on America's Day at the Races. And Anthony will be joining us tomorrow for some of America's Day's races. Marathon tomorrow, 24-hour show. Have a great day. Johnny I up next, the reprise, scratches and changes.